Alright, welcome to episode 2 of the JMCC podcast. I'm Terrence.
I'm Brandon. What's going on?
The first topic we're going to do is for a manga. Obviously, we're the JMCC, so we do Japanese manga cosplay club, that's the name. So we figured we'd actually get into manga in this episode because we didn't really do that much last episode. So, you know more about One Piece. You know way more about One Piece than I do. I recently started because it came to Toonami, so I thought, I'll read and try to catch up and, watch it on Toonami. And I found out the art that they're doing is like 300 volumes in. So,
Sky?
long ring long. And so.
You have to describe that to me because when it comes to anime and manga, I remember what's going on, much less so the names.
I have no idea what's going on. I know that's where they met some character. Her name's Foxy.
Fox. Oh, the guy with the afro that does his fingers like this and frees people?
Yeah.
Or slows them
I think that
down?
was like in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, that shit.
So I'm still, I just got to the part where Sanji joined them, right after the restaurant boat thing, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed that part. It's just hard to, once I found out it was 300 in, it really slowed me down from reading. But I'm gonna try to keep going and catch up. But so far, I really enjoy it. I know certain things that are gonna happen later, but so far I really like the characters. They're all pretty cool. Obviously Zoro is the Three Katana, so obviously he's automatically my favorite. But
Shit is crazy.
yeah, all the characters are really cool. Luffy's, classic, funny, shonen character. But he's, his powers. I really like his powers and how he uses them.
That's one of the things I love about One Piece is the power system. It's not, in my opinion, a lot of shonen manga go with, the main character or his friends meet this arbitrary set of standards, so they get to go up 3 levels. Whenever they get beaten down, because your father got hit by a comet and had sex with your mother, and then you were born, so now you got comet DNA in you, so now you can beat this bad guy who no one could beat before. I hate that shit. That gets on my nerves. But One Piece is okay, I've got this arbitrary ass power. I have to make it work. And that's what everyone does. There's one guy whose power is candle wax. And somehow he was just you know what? I trained my ass off. Now this candle wax is hard as steel. And it's just that's some off the wall shit I never thought of. I'd have thought he would just smother someone with candle wax until they died or something like that. It's no.
Stuff, yeah.
Right. One girl is I paint. I'm really good at painting, and my powers let me make my colors real. So with my imagination, if I paint something red and says that red makes it tougher, that shit's tough. And just the arbitrary shit. I can make my arms and legs grow out of things. But since I do that, I angle them around so I just break your neck from your shoulder. That's what I like about One Piece. It's just you don't meet this arbitrary set of standards until later in the series, and you'll see. But in the beginning of the series, it's literally you have this power that most people will be why? And you turned it into badass. The only person, and you can tell too, because everyone else comes up with their powers and how to do something awesome. And then you have people like Buggy, Buggy the Pot.
Yeah.
He does jack shit with his. Literally, later on in the series, everyone's gonna be doing this epic crap, and Buggy's just well, I can float 3 feet above my feet because I can separate them. Or I can throw my hand at you, but God forbid you're more than 3 feet away from me because it'll just fall to the ground and I have to come get it. But we're fighting, so I'm just gonna lose.
There's nothing I liked about him. After they beat him, I guess spoilers. This is in the very beginning. But after they beat him, what they do is basically show his story as the first picture of each chapter, and how he meets some woman. I don't know who she is yet, but he's basically with her. And it shows his story of after he got beat by Luffy and everybody, and how he was off on this island by himself, and it's just his head, his hands, and his legs.
Because they tied his rest of his body.
So he's off, lost, and his crew is fighting who's gonna be the new leader, and then it's the lion beat everybody, and then they all got beat up by these giants and stuff. And it's cool that they tell this story, and it's just the picture for the first chapter, and it's his whole story. So it's pretty cool, and they just got to the part where the giants didn't know what the body parts were, so they untied him. So I guess pretty soon he's gonna be
back
together. And I just thought that was a really cool thing. I'd never seen a manga do that before, where they told a character's story just through the stills. I just thought that was pretty cool.
One Piece is pretty good for making, because he doesn't kill anyone. They have to, a lot of times they go, well, this is what happened after this. You know, as far as that goes. Some of them know, but a lot of them, yeah. Like, later you're going to run into someone that you thought you'd never meet again. If you've been watching the series from the beginning, I kind of want to spoil the shit out of this for you.
Yeah, well, don't spoil it for anybody else either.
Alright.
Just if you can be as vague as possible.
Someone that you thought was just a minor, not even a bad guy, just like a mid-boss, and they got immediately trounced, is going to come back. And it's just like, you know, that kind of set the tone for, okay, there's a reason why he doesn't kill anybody. Sometimes they serve another purpose. And this was to kind of make that person's character, and give her a little more depth, in my opinion. Not a lot, she's still a pretty shallow character, but.
More than she would have had.
Right, if they just, he beat her, she's gone, whatever, he didn't kill her, she's living her life now, she owns a bar or some shit. But yeah, I like One Piece because of that. I also like One Piece because of the lack of a romantic interest. You know, because one of the things I really don't like is the cheesy romantic thing and the whole harem style thing. One of the things I don't like about that is that it really comes down to knocking. Because a lot of the main character's romantic issues would be resolved if he just knocked on the door every once in a while. You know, that would really, really solve a lot of it. This guy went through all this crap and in the end he got the girl, but he could have probably got her sooner if he would just knock every now and again and stop busting into the room while she's changing, using the bathroom, taking a shower. Just knock. It's not that hard.
Simple stuff. I just got into an anime called Girls Bravo, like 2004. That's a funny one. But yeah, harem stuff. But I like the character designs too for all the characters in One Piece. Like everybody just looks pretty cool to me.
Yeah, they are really cool. I like the character designs. I like the power aspect of it because Luffy's looks like a genius when it comes to using his power. He really is. Because like later on in the series, you're gonna get to arcs, and it's just gonna be like, well, I've been working on this. Because you think he's retarded. He's just really tough and retarded.
That's how it seems. And then he uses all his powers
and you
ways I never would have.
He's like a savant.
Yeah.
He literally is like a savant. It's just like you think he's retarded, and then when he gets into a fight, and God forbid someone else gets the upper hand, then you realize he's not just bullshit. He's thinking. He's always thinking. It's just not about what's going on around him. It's what he can do with his powers at this time. Like I don't know if you watched it when it originally came on, but it sort of petered out during the Sky Island arc when Cartoon Network first started showing it. Well, in that arc, one of the things that is immediately thrown at you, so it's not even a spoiler, is that the people from Sky Island have the ability to just sort of know what you're going to do before you do it. So like his entire crew has to deal with that fact. They just do that. So in the beginning they're getting trounced because everything they do, they know what they're going to do. They dodge it, whatever. Luffy is immediately thinking of ways to get around that. Even though he's not saying it, he is. And then later on you realize that that's the second he got up there and he threw a punch and someone moved, his immediate thought was, how can I stop that? Because that's not going to work. And it just gets so intense later, the fighting just gets so intense later after he figures it out. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I guess for anybody watching who doesn't know, One Piece right now, even though it's not insanely popular in America, it is the #1 manga in Japan right now, if I'm right. Is One Piece, then Naruto, and then I guess Bleach. I don't know if Bleach is still. I keep hearing it's canceled. I know the show is done. I don't know about the manga, but
I had to stop watching Bleach.
But One Piece is the #1 manga in Japan, and it's super old. I remember that's actually the first manga I ever read. I was in 2nd grade, and I don't know why in the world my school had One Piece in the class, but I guess somebody had it, and they left it there. Yeah, and it was One Piece. It was like the first volume of One Piece, which I kind of wish I sold it or something because it's probably worth a bunch of money now.
I used to own the first volume of One Piece. It was in the Scholastic book paper, and I bought it because I didn't know what it was at the time. I had no idea what manga was. I just bought it, and I was like, "Holy crap! I love this! I love this!" I was pissed because it was backwards, and all of them, you know how they all have that little sheet saying, "Stop! You're about to screw up. Read it this way."
Yeah.
It was so annoying. I couldn't get it right. But I kept I read it so much because I found it so interesting that eventually it just became second nature. And then I had to teach myself how to read from left to right again because it completely screwed everything up.
I had a little edit there. But yeah, we're finishing up One Piece. There's not much else to say on But you were talking about how you were reading it,
Yeah.
like you enjoyed it so much, and how
It's one of my favorites. I really like it. I like the whole concept behind it and everything. Keep watching it. It gets a lot better. They add a lot more crew members, and it gets really, really good. And one of the things I like about it is how it switches from serious to, funny, laid back comedy. And it gets really, really good. There are points where it gets really, really emotional. A lot of people have heard the one big one, which involves, way later in the series, involving Luffy's brother. So you've probably heard
I
about
heard,
that.
yeah, I heard about that one, yeah.
That one is one of the biggest, but because technically in One Piece, I believe only 2 people have died. One in the beginning, in the very beginning, when Luffy was a kid, some pirates was screwing around with Captain Shanks, and the big guy shot him in the head. That was like there, and then like 600 episodes in the future, something else happened, someone else died. But I think only 2 people have ever died.
And everybody else just gets defeated.
Just gets beaten, it's crap beaten out of them.
I guess that's a pretty good junction point for getting beat up. Our second subject, we're going to talk about Nintendo. We talked about E3 last week, and me and Walter mentioned a few things about, PlayStation, Microsoft, and Nintendo. The big thing is that, pretty much Microsoft and Sony going head to head and all that stuff. But Nintendo hasn't really done much this year. They just did the Nintendo Direct, and honestly, that's pretty much it. They announced some pretty cool games, mostly what they do every year, their classic stuff, new Mario, new Donkey Kong, new Zelda. I guess the thing I'm most excited for, like most people, is Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
After that is probably the new Super Mario Worlds, and the main reason is because we used to play Super Mario Brother 2, like not the real one, but the American version, basically. It reminds me a lot of that because it keeps all of those powers for the characters. So like Luigi jumps high and Peach has the float, and Toad runs quick. So that's why I like that one. But for the most part, there's not much else. Like Bayonetta, I really want because I love Bayonetta.
But that's probably gonna be, isn't that multi-platform?
No, because
It's only
Bayonetta wasn't going to get picked up, and so Nintendo picked it up, and now they're the publisher. So it's Wii U exclusive, yeah.
Nice, okay, so that was good. I agree with them on that. But they've been screwed up so much. I mean, in my opinion, as far as what Nintendo's been doing, they've kind of dropped the whole, okay, casual gamers are not going to be our saving grace, because that was, in my opinion, what the Wii was. It was a casual gaming system for casual gamers, because everyone had the speculation that casual gamers are on the rise. So whoever can tap into that market, whether it be mobile games or console games, is going to beat the heck out of everybody else.
Which they did,
yeah. Yeah, Nintendo did. In the beginning, they dominated.
You couldn't get a Wii.
Right.
It was almost impossible.
PlayStation what? Xbox what? No one cared. Everyone had a Wii. It was more affordable than everybody else. It was fun. Everyone loved Wii Sports. I got no one who said anything bad about Wii Sports. And then after that, after a couple of years, when you had to, after console sales were done, you had to let your games keep you going. Nintendo just fell off the map because they didn't develop a lot of games.
They just had their first party stuff, and then
everyone else, hey, make for our system. I don't know what the hell
they get like the funniest games only exist on the Wii, which most people know. Like, if you go to GameStop, I remember me and Teddy were in there once, and I swear we saw a used game. It was like $2. I was just like, wow, you don't see used games for $2. You don't see a PlayStation game used for $2.
I don't know what Nintendo just. You know what messed them up? You know when I knew they were going downhill when they made Wii Music. It's like who the hell did you make that for? Who did you think was going to have fun pretending to play an instrument with their Wii remote? And that's the whole purpose of it. There wasn't like, you were an orchestra, like you were a conductor and you had to conduct people, or these are situations where you have to be able to play the music. No, it was just literally, you can swing your remote and noises come out. And it's like, why did you make that? Who's going to enjoy that? Babies don't even enjoy that. Babies would get more enjoyment out of Call of Duty than they would out of that, and they can't even appreciate it. I was like, why did you make that? There's no purpose to this game. It is literally just nothing.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of just nosed down after that. It's like, we Carnival. We Carnival 2.
Well,
We skee ball.
Games, yeah.
Right. They had a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones hitting.
Yeah, the first party games were great. And they had, I think they were the first system to have the House of the Dead Overkill game, which, that got great reviews. It was like, it was pretty much like a grindhouse movie. So it was like a comedy, but it was House of the Dead. And I like the House of the Dead games, personally. I like all of those.
They had a really good concept. They just needed to develop the games more. I mean, because a lot of people were just like, come on. Because all of the Metroid, except for the other M, we were pretending that does not exist, were fantastic. They told this great story. And the one that they made for the Wii really wrapped it up rather nicely. I really like that one. Because I played for Metroid Prime 2, Metroid, I forgot what the last one was.
I barely even played the Metroid games.
Those were great.
I hardly, I had a GameCube. Honestly, I only have 10 games total. And it's like Smash Brothers, X-Men Legends 1 and 2, and I can't even remember the other games. One of the things I remember the most is I got a demo for Star Wars Rogue Squadron, and it had the original arcade game, and I probably played that more than I played the demo. But yeah,
I just if they developed more for it, because they had a lot of good ideas. A lot of people were like, when they made the Pikmin, when they ported it up, I'm like, why didn't they just make a new one? Because people buy that.
when is the new Pikmin coming out? It's probably next
They
year.
pushed it back, so it's gonna be sometime next year, because that's some shit I play. I love the story.
Yeah, and the graphics, obviously the graphics look amazing because Wii U has HD now. So
The problem is that they're falling back into that whole, we got the system out, it's cool, that's great, but what games do I want to play? Why would I get new Super Mario World 2? The only thing you've added is Yoshi's that's all you've added. And one more costume. That's not doing anything for me, I don't care. What's some other, they got that Lego cop game.
Okay, that one was pretty good. They made another one for DS, it's a separate game. I heard that was pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, you got so few. When you come out with a system, the system shouldn't sell. The system shouldn't have to shouldn't stand on its own legs. You should have stuff that make me go, I need this because I want to play this.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I'm going to buy me a PS4 is because Kingdom Hearts, I have to play that. I've been playing them, I have to play that. I have to get me a PS4.
Yeah.
That's what sells a game. You know what sold the Nintendo 64? Ocarina of Time. Because people were like, I have to buy this because I love Zelda. I have to play this game.
That was probably one of the best consoles because they had that, and Mario 64 was huge.
Right.
Donkey Kong, that was. I mean, it was obviously the first Nintendo to go 3D, so it was the first game we had where you could walk around with all your favorite characters.
Right.
So that was a huge one, and now we have.
But they balanced, 3D innovation, moving to the 3D realm with games that you just had to buy.
Yeah, games anyway.
And now they moved with the Wii. They moved, in my opinion, towards this, a really cool concept. But what are you making for it?
Less execution.
Right. Like I work at Walmart, and we have this video going constantly that doesn't talk about the games for the Wii U. It just talks about the features for the system. And I'm like, that's all well and good, but who cares? The gamepad can be used as a menu. Okay. A menu can also, the start button takes me to a menu. Yeah, the gamepad can be used as a map. Start button does the same thing. Or I can have a little mini map in the corner, so that's not wow.
It's not extremely special. I think the best thing to have is the fact that you can play without being on TV.
But that's for one game.
Yeah, I know, it's only for a few. I didn't know that because when they first announced it, it was they made it seem like everything and then
it's for Mario.
It's for Mario. I know you can do it for Rayman. I think I heard that they were doing that for Bayonetta 2 as well.
That doesn't sound like it's going to be. I don't know.
I think that'll be. I mean, if you have, I mean, I would never do it unless I actually had to play it
right.
anyway. But
It's different when you have
it'll
a
be-
platformer versus
Yeah, like
an action
like that,
adventure.
yeah. Especially something like Bayonetta, because that's pretty much, which I said in the last one, is like the female devil may cry, so you get like action like all over the place. It's crazy, but
it's just like,
cool features, yeah.
yeah, it's a cool feature implemented though. You know, like the alternate reality that they're working on, like they have with the 3DS, where the camera looks at your background, and well, the only thing that actually uses it is the mini game that comes with it where you shoot the faces.
The card and
You
stuff,
could
yeah.
expand upon that. You know, my thing was that Mario game, make a Mario game where if you go above the screen, you have to use that to see where you're going. And, you know, the obstacles are there. If you take a warp pipe down, now angle it down. And it doesn't necessarily, you know, it's just, you're lower because there's a gyroscope. So now you can see what's going on underground. And that makes it great for bosses. You know, puzzle bosses, you do a giant piranha plant. You have to go up under and beat the hell out of the roots, come back up to the top, and while the roots are down, hit the spot on the head. You know,
I feel like if they saw that, then they'd take that idea.
They
Like
would,
if this
take it.
for some
If
reason
you
got
see it,
insanely popular.
take it, because that would be a great concept. You know, it's another good concept. I just last year I just started, but D&D, you can make it to whereas you have 4 people playing D&D, and then the game master, the dungeon master, has the game pad, and they design. It doesn't even have to be D&D. It's just like a dungeon creator, where you on there you draw a dungeon, you give it a tool set where you can place traps, monsters, things of that nature, and the other characters, once you're done, you get done, and the other characters go through, and they have to try to fight their way through this dungeon to whatever endpoint there is. And the person holding the screen is basically leading them through, activating traps and stuff, or they activate automatically. He maybe can take control of the monsters when they encounter them so that he's fighting them, things of that nature. That's another innovative thing that you can use that gamepad for. That would be really interesting, probably sell a few copies.
Yeah, more, I know the augmented reality, they could easily do more stuff with that.
Yeah.
Thinking back on like I think it probably had to have been the early PlayStation 3 when they had like that card game, where it was like dragons and all that type of stuff.
They can do that with the 3DS.
Yeah.
You know what I think Nintendo should do, and it would sell millions? If they partnered up with Magic and made it to whereas the 3DS, you know how they did the Kid Icarus cards when they first announced the 3DS and Kid Icarus, where they were fighting like that?
Yeah.
If they did that with Magic, that would, everyone who plays Magic would buy a 3DS just to do that, because that'd be awesome.
They could do it for like Pokemon too. If
They
they
could-
like brought back new Pokemon cards.
And that
or
would just,
something.
yeah, that would sell tons of Pokemon merchandise. You buy the cards, and then you could buy the figures, and all of that ties into the game, where the game does the augmented reality projection. Now you're doing Pokemon battles on a table or on the ground, wherever you can get 2, 3. That would sell like crazy. I don't know why, but this is some stuff that people in the boardroom should be like, this is some stuff we should make. But they're not. They're like, okay, this is a really cool concept.
Or Donkey Kong.
Let's do another Donkey Kong Returns. Donkey Kong Returns, the returning it. You know, let's do that. Let's have another Super Mario world with Yoshi's, but this time we add the fact that, you know, we throw in the fact that you pick up a giant gold coin and it turns everything gold. It's gonna be awesome. The kids are gonna love it. No,
So,
screw that.
Gimmicks and stuff.
Right. Stop with the gimmicks. Make a game like you used to. Please, Nintendo. That's what I want. I want you to make games. Banjo-Kazooie, you let that die. I don't know why. That game was
I thought that
hilarious.
was gonna come back.
They did nuts and
Yes,
bolts, and
When they mentioned, when I was watching the E3 coverage, there was like a new rare game coming back. It turned out to be Killer Instinct, which is sweet. It's not done by Rare, I found out, but
they just picked it up.
yeah, but you know, Killer Instinct, you know, Ultra combos and all that stuff. Which I used to play that like crazy with my cousins, but I thought it was gonna be Banjo-Kazooie because even though Killer Instinct is insanely popular, I swear the last one I don't think came out since the N64 and PlayStation 1.
Actually, no, it came out for the Xbox. Rare jumped on there, and they made Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which made it into a car building game. Where you built cars and you did races or random tasks with a car that you built. I gave it a shot. I couldn't do it because I couldn't keep up with the story because they made the text this big and it moved really, really fast. And it was at the bottom of the screen. It was just made like, who can read this? Why did you do this? This is interface 101. Make your text where people can read it, or make your characters speak English. One of the two. If they're going to be talking in calls and random noises, the subtitles need to be big and move slowly so that people can read them. I'm talking about size 8 Arial narrow font. I shit you not. It was like size 8 Arial narrow. At the bottom of the screen, I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. I got like 3 words, and then it just scrolled really fast because I'm supposed to know what, mumbo jumbo's saying, and he just speaks in random tribal speak. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, that was
my shit.
How long was that for the nuts and bolts?
That was in 2000 something. I
Like
want to say
2005.
5 or 4.
Yeah.
It was a while ago, but
So that's way more recent. Like Killer Instinct though hasn't been out since like N64.
I'm not saying they don't deserve a reboot, because they deserve a reboot. It was a really good game.
You could rather have a good Banjo.
I just want to, because I'm always an action adventure platformer RPG guy. That's just what I did. I grew up on those. I grew up watching my dad play Final Fantasy, and I enjoyed that. Not like, I watched him play because I wanted to play in it. No, I enjoyed watching him play. It was great. So I just grew up on that and loving a good story. And then me, myself personally, would play platformers, so that's just my bread and butter right there. So I just really wanted that because I love Banjo-Kazooie. It was just a great game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Crazy ass story with the bear and the bird. It was awesome. And Kazooie was a total ass. She was a bitch. I'm sorry. She was on your side, but she was a raging bitch. Got you into more trouble than it was worth. My favorite scene in the entire series is when they go into a factory and into a warehouse where the boss is, and it's a giant blowtorch. And her immediate thing is, he's like, "What are you doing here? Get out. You don't have clearance to be in here. It's such a security system. Just leave." She's like, "Or what?" "Please, God, don't do this." And he's like, "Or what? Or I'll light you on fire." And she's like, "So? So many people have said that to me. I'll just destroy you." And I'm just like, "Look, we'll leave." And he's like, "Oh no, now we gotta go." No, please don't do this. That was my favorite scene.
Yeah, and that's just one of the franchises they could bring back.
They could do a Kid Icarus reboot on there. They could have done Luigi's Mansion on there, but they put it on the 3DS, which I think was a good idea. Pikmin could come back. They could do a Metroid and do it right this time. Mario, Paper Mario, Super Paper Mario. They could do.
I like that one, the one they made for the Wii. I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
They had like the 2D, 3D stuff in it.
No more of the RPG battling. You literally had to hit your enemy a certain number of times. I like that. That was good. I like the Paper Mario franchise though. It's a really good franchise.
I just thought they could actually bring back, what was the one on GameCube where it was Mario and Luigi? It was kind of like the RPG ones. I just can't remember what it was called.
Mario and Luigi.
It was on the Game Boy. And
Oh, you're talking about their adventures, like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Bowser's.
Yeah, I think that one.
Those, I think they should leave on the
Portable.
But I think they should do what they did on the original N64, or not N64, Super Nintendo, which was the RPG they made for that, which was Super Mario RPG, which had the entire Mushroom Kingdom on it. It was him, Princess Peach, Bowser. They had some cloud guy, and there was a toy that came to life because a star hid inside of it. His name is Gino.
Like I never played them, but I heard it was like one of the.
Oh, it was
games.
great.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm surprised they haven't remade that. They could like redo it and put that on the Wii U or something. I'm sure people would really love that.
They could remake it and it would sell if they just updated the graphics and remade it. Or they could just, in my opinion, just make a new one. Just make a new one because you can't go wrong. You've got an entire world built.
Franchise, yeah.
So just, use the world to your advantage. It's great. It was great. Dude, they could I think they should just bring that back, and just have that running because that would sell a lot. They have a lot of stuff that they could do. They're just not doing it.
I'm curious to see how they do multiplayer or online multiplayer now compared to the Wii, because I don't know what it's like right now. Is it still the number system?
Yeah.
It's still that?
Like the later games that they make bypass that. Like I recently bought Animal Crossing, and the way they bypass that in Animal Crossing is it's just that you request a friendship from someone, and if they say yes, then it does all that bullshit for you with the numbers.
Automatic.
Right, because before you had to either enter in their numbers, or you had to search for them, like if you guys are next to one another, you could do it like that, and it'll just find someone. But the problem was that you could friend them, but if they didn't friend you, it was just a person clogging your list. You never got to see anything from them. Another terrible thing is that you don't have messaging. There was no way for you to message someone.
Which I know they have now. That's one of the things they've been putting into a lot of their games, where they have like it's not like a friend list thing, it's just a community, it's pretty much a community message board where like you could be playing the game and it would be like you could, if you're having trouble, you can go to the message boards for this specific section and it'll say like, I did this. Like it'll have a bunch of people saying I did this.
I like that more than I like PlayStation share idea.
One of the things they did, I remember, is for Resident Evil Revelations, they just did it where people could put like any comment on the enemies, and it would just be like random funny comments, and you could turn it on and off basically, and it was just like this silly little community thing they had. And that was just an interesting little concept. There's some of the stuff they do with their third-party games, like they always get the deluxe editions basically, but the problem is I don't think they sell as much because the games are generally like so popular that they've already been bought up on other consoles, like how they did Darksiders 2 that came out later. Deus Ex is still coming out and it's got all the DLC on it. How they did with Batman. There's something else, like Assassin's Creed came out at the same time and it just had the special features on the board, or the pad, I mean. But I don't know, for the most part, it's just, their first party games are what sell the consoles.
Yeah,
And then, third party is sort of, backstage, I guess.
Nintendo's out of the fight, but they can come back in anytime once they just start actually developing games and going in like that, and not just leaving it up to third party people to here's this really cool concept, work with it. That's my thing. But at least they didn't say, we're not going to support used games.
And Microsoft changed that, fortunately.
Did they change it? Because last time I heard, they said it was going to be on the publisher's side. Like, we personally won't say you can't, but the publishers will decide whether or not you can share the games.
They said that from the very beginning, but they took that back, saying that now you can use games. So what they did though was they took off family sharing, I heard, which was basically their solution for the used games, where if you had a game, 10 other people could use it. One of the things they do have is if you have gold, if one person has gold now on one console, everyone has gold on the console.
That was a good innovation.
But
the thing I still don't like is the fact that, I don't know if they changed this, you have to log in every 24 hours.
No, all that's gone.
Thank God, because they killed themselves. I swear to God, they literally put the stake in their heart, and Sony was like, thank you.
Did you see the Sony conference?
When they came out, like, I would like to say that Sony, they were, I swear to God, when Microsoft said that, whoever that guy was for Sony was in the back like, yes, yes.
Yeah, they did a video after their conference, Sony did, and it was like, this is how you share games with a friend, with Sony. And he like handed him the game, and he's like, thanks. And then it was like a 10-second video and it went off. That was funny.
They almost murdered themselves with that. Oh God, they would have killed themselves.
Yeah, they switched that around, so, now it's back to, you can pretty much choose what you want. You have more options now compared to, they have these couple of great exclusives that you really want to play, but, they have to be new and you can't get used, things like that. But moving on from the games, our third subject is video game movies. And one you mentioned that I thought we could segue from was, you were talking about Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy movies. Because there are two, the original one, which had nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
It was a good movie, but
it was. Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, if this wasn't Final Fantasy, which sometimes you might think that a lot with movies, where it's like they could have just made this something else. And when I think about that later, it's like they probably couldn't, because a lot of times, even if you have like a great original idea, sometimes you just can't get it published unless you say it's a remake or you say it's
So
based
they just
off
tied
of
it
this.
into the name because they knew people were gonna go, oh, yes.
Final Fantasy movie, but it was like, it made me mad.
That was,
like,
it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was
like
a
now
really
I can
good
appreciate
movie,
it.
yeah,
But
because
for
it had
some,
like a really good story and everything.
it's like,
but
fuck you. Why would
it
you
had
do
nothing
this?
to do with Final
Like, where's
Fantasy.
Cloud? What's going on?
Yeah, but you know, like that one, like a lot of video game movies. Actually, I did like a whole video on this, like the Resident Evil ones. Those would be, they're good movies on their own. Some are, some aren't. Like the first one, that's just a good movie, period, because it does have like the horror aspect to it.
And it
It's, like,
directly ties into the game
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, like for the most part, it is that. It's just less time in the mansions and like no puzzles, because that would kind of be boring.
No one wants to see someone fail a puzzle for a couple hours.
Yeah. But for the most part, that did capture it. It just, you know, have more of the underground facility portion, because that's kind of what you need. That was the meat of the game in the end of it.
And it was just kind of it was more of a tribute. It had its own, it had a story within the world, but it was a little tribute to the game.
Yeah.
Where the resident, you know, the mansion's here, the dogs, the zombies. What was it? The liquor was the big boss.
Yeah.
So it was just like, yeah, it was more of a tribute, and then the rest of them just became, we're going to use the name, but we're going to have little to jack shit to do with the game.
Like the second one, I hated the second one because it had Mike Epps in it, and like if you're gonna have someone as funny as Mike Epps, you don't. Like, you can have a comedy person do a serious role, but they didn't do that. They had Mike Epps as Mike Epps.
As Mike Epps, just doing Mike
So
Epps.
it made me like hate the movie because he was so funny in it. And he had like 2 gold guns, which were from Code Veronica, which I didn't think about. I was just thinking like, why does he have gold guns? But it was from Code Veronica. Hopefully, it was a reference to Code Veronica because you have their gold loopers in the game. And then like the whole end of the movie was actually from Code Veronica. Like she runs through this building and the helicopter is shooting the windows out. That's from the opening cutscene of Code Veronica. And you know, like they had Nemesis. It was pretty much Resident Evil 3, the movie, because it was like the whole city. You had the mercenaries and Nemesis, and they had Jill and stuff. But I just didn't really enjoy it because it was so funny with Mike Epps. And then the third one, I enjoyed it more because it was a lot more toned down, and obviously it had nothing to do with Resident Evil after that because it was after.
At that point, I felt it went standalone.
Yeah,
it was like we're going to tell this story.
Yeah, it was like a desert world at that point.
I hated this. I hated the second one because the second one just felt like you're trying to tell a story, but you're trying to cater to people who played the game. It's not working out. You have to choose a side. If you're going to give a tribute to the game, give a tribute to the game. Stick to its story and settings. Don't throw all this crap in, but still try. No, just one or the other. And then the third one was just like, okay, the other. And I was like, yes, I like this. This is a good.
It was a good one.
I don't know why they kept making them. I didn't even bother with the fourth one. It was
I think
like Jill clones.
I saw the first one in the movies. I saw the second on bootleg. The third one, I think I saw. I don't even remember how I saw it, but I saw it. I have the first 3 on DVD because I did enjoy the first and third one that much. The fourth one, which I saw again, I think they're on the 6th one now.
Yeah.
So I've seen all of them. I just can't remember which one the fourth one was.
The fourth one involved the fact, like the third one ended with her clones, and then the fourth one was like
Okay.
clones.
Okay, so they just did the 5th one, and it's not the 6th one they did. So the 4th one I didn't like as much. That was the one where it was after 5, so they had a lot of stuff from 5, like the infected, where they would like open their mouths. It was like that, and they had the big guy with the axe. The only thing I really enjoyed was like they added Chris in it, because they had like Claire. Wesker is in it, of course. He's probably like one of the few things I like, because it's not that hard to really play Wesker to me. I don't think he does excellent, but you know, just do like a pretty cool voice.
Good.
The last one I actually enjoyed way more than the one before because the story was interesting. They had like everyone from the old movies come back because they had like a whole simulation type thing going on. There was still some weird stuff that happened. Like there's a part where she escaped and like her clothes were in this drawer, like convenient. It didn't make any sense. The drawer just opened and her stuff was in there. But I was like, okay. And they had Ada and Leon. Yeah, they had like Ada and Leon, and the end fight was really cool because it was like an actual hand-to-hand fight. And the one before that was mostly CG with like Wesker dodging and stuff. But this one was like they were fighting and you know they were like pretty much getting beat up because it was like Jill had like super strength and stuff like at 5. So she's like beating up the people, and then Michelle Rodriguez's character, like the evil her, pretty much has super strength and stuff. But I thought that one was pretty cool. And now I think the next one's gonna be like the last one, because now like Wesker's the president, and he like recruited them, so now they're gonna try to kill off all the monsters, I guess.
We trash the
yeah,
world.
they're like in the White House, and it's just like it pans out, and it's just a bunch of crap happening. So I don't know how they're gonna
How
do
the
that.
hell did he become president? I want to know how does that happen?
I don't know.
How do you wreck the world and then run for president? Like, I'm gonna fix
There's
this.
nobody
No, you
else
started
doing it.
this. You
He's
should
got-
fix it
yeah,
just
I don't
because.
You got super strength and speed or something. I don't know. Just
Just-
punch people until they're dead.
Right, 'cause the T virus is
Yeah.
just Superman's urine. That's what that is.
Like
So
I was
people
playing, I
take-
just beat Code Veronica, and that's probably that's one of my favorite Wesker games because he like punches. He actually fights in that one, and like he when you first see him, because in the original Code Veronica he's not even in it. They like retcon is when they go back and change the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that in Code Veronica when they redid it for PlayStation 2, and so. There's a scene, like when you first see him, he's with Claire, and he like smacks her, and she like flies like 20 feet because he has a super
Jesus.
strength, yeah. And he like just knocks her down, and then like he hates Chris, and like in the end of the game they have a fight, and he's just like beating Chris up like crazy. Like he just like
Well-
kicks him, he just like uppercuts him, and does like a backflip and everything.
To be fair, in 5, Chris comes back and punches a boulder
Yeah.
at him. So, which that was the point in the game where me and my dad were playing side by side. I was Chris, he was Ava. Sheva. He was Sheva. And we were just going, because it was fun. We were just playing together. It was really fun. It's really fun because he's old school gaming, so he's not like
Right.
me being able to like dodge people just without having to dodge, just like walking close to them and moving just
Yeah.
past them as they're hitting. He's like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, it's not that hard.
They run around.
Right,
That's
it's
what
the
all
run-
the Resident Evil games really.
Right, you
They
learn
launch,
that.
and then I just go around and save ammo.
Exactly. He's looking at me like I'm a god. I'm like, no, it's not that hard. You're not used to that because you're used to just beating the crap out of your enemies and jumping on their heads. I'm like, no, when my games came around, I had to learn to
Right.
dodge or I was going to die.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing that and he's sitting there doing that. And at that point in the game, Shiv was getting chased by Wesker. And he's just like, he calls me B-boy. He's like, B-boy, I need you, you need to find what you need to do because I'm about to die. I can't hold him back because, your shots are he's like dodging. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I'm trying to shoot at Wesker. It's not working. And then I see this quick time event. I'm like, what is this? And Chris just turns and starts punching a ball. I'm like, what the wait, what?
I don't think I ever caught that when I played it. It never registered to
He
me. I guess.
punched a boulder.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? What? Okay, I mean, I know this has got fantastic, but really, you're in a volcano punching a boulder, and then you just Hulk throw it at. I'm like, what's going on? This is crazy now.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't know. It just never.
How weird that was.
Yeah.
That
I was
that's
just
what we're
thinking.
gonna
I
do.
was just thinking. Like I guess I won't spoil it. But I was just thinking. Like I'm surprised this is where the franchise is going with Wesker and all that stuff. But
Because he's God now.
yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, the movies. Like I said, I like the first one the most because it's the best one, and then 3 was okay. I hated 2. Like the last one wasn't horrible. Like I don't know why, but I really like the hand-to-hand fight. I guess it just seemed more realistic to me, so I enjoyed it. But
They're really cool.
other than that, Resident Evil has the 2 3D movies, which are fantastic. There was Degeneration and Damnation.
Yes, I still have to finish Degeneration because I was watching it and I fell asleep midway through and I woke back up in the end and I just left because I didn't want to know because I wasn't
Degeneration, that's the first one, right? Or- I'm pretty sure Degeneration is the first one and Damnation is the new one that just came out.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, Degeneration was the first one. I need to.
And that was with Leon and Claire, and that was a good one. It was more horror based. The second was more action based, but it was still really good. And that was Leon again. It had Leon and Ada was in it.
Leon's just a freaking boss. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really sweet. Like the action scenes in that, it was really sweet. Like there were a bunch of knife fights and a bunch of twists. Like there's this woman, she was like the president of this country or whatever. And so the virus spreads. They had a good concept in it, which they didn't. It was weird that wasn't in 6 to me because this came with it was like the first movie Degeneration led up to 5 and how Umbrella became Tricell. And then Damnation imagination led up to 6. But one of the things they had in the movie was how this guy could inject himself and he could control liquors. And it was weird that that wasn't in 6 at all. Like there was no concept of them actually controlling zombies or any of the monsters or anything like that. But it was a pretty cool
I
story.
thought that was, as far as like the game, and the 6th game, I thought that was like one of the people, that was her predominant way of fighting, was using like the T-virus and pheromones to set up situations where the zombies showed up and killed people or would kill themselves and stuff like that.
I'm trying to think of anything that was as close to that as in the movie. They had the one guy, he like transformed into a bunch of stuff. He transformed into like a lion, then a T-Rex, which was pretty awesome actually. Which I thought that was crazy, but it was like transformed into like a T-Rex and a boss battle. I was like, that's pretty freaking sweet. It's insane, but it was really fun.
Jesus
to
Christ.
actually play, yeah.
Yeah, that's some Parasite Eve shit right there. I'm not gonna get into that game because shit got weird there. Like really. Have you ever played Parasite Eve?
Is that the one where you use the mic to talk to the character?
No, that was a different game. Oh, that game is hilarious in itself.
Yeah, I swear, all I think about is watching the X-Player
Bark like a
review of
dog.
that. Yes.
Big dog, little dog. Big dog. Woof. I don't see how this is happening. Why'd
That
you
was
do
a
that?
funny game. It was a funny review. I always try to look it up on YouTube. But
You go to the Parasite. That's a PlayStation 1 game where you are this police officer and this opera singer. You go to this opera house to watch this play, and this opera singer just sets. I think she set one person on fire, or it was everyone but you. She just has this like something in her mind snaps, and someone or everyone just bursts into flames, and you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened? So you go chasing after her through some circumstances. You go chasing after her. And it turns out something inside of her just like clicked, and she just jumped this evolutionary step to having these mental psychic powers. It has something to do with Eve or something like that and the parasite. But she's like, as she's going, because she's ahead of you, she's infecting everything around you and setting people on fire. So like, you chase her into the sewer, and like a rat just changes into this big dog-like rat skeleton monster, and you have to fight it. It's a pretty hard game because the camera is shit and the controls are equally shit. Because it's that old school Resident Evil where there's no diagonal or there's no turnaround unless you do a full circle. It's always, I want to go backwards, okay. I'll go backwards now. Yeah, it's really hard. And like I said, the camera's shit because it's fixed position camera. But it was a really interesting game and shit got crazy. Like you go from rats to like a crocodile in a sewer, and it's mixed with some type of spider thing. I don't know. It was creepy as balls.
Crazy game.
Right. And then like you get to, there is a point where Eve's going to have a baby, and it's going to be, you don't want that to happen because she's bad enough now. This thing is going to be fully whatever the hell she's turning into. So like you see the security camera, and she's like on a wall, all husk-like, and you got to get in that room. She's in a museum somewhere. You're in a museum, so you dash out, and all the time you're in there, it's like it's just like it's worse than, it's like Dead Space. When you walk into a room, you see dead bodies everywhere. You're like, one of these motherfuckers can get up and try to kill me. It's like that. You're walking through this museum, you see bodies, you see skeletons of dinosaurs and mammoths everywhere. You're like, Jesus Christ, one of these things is gonna come alive and try to kill me. Sure enough, you get ready to leave, and there's this big ass T-Rex just there, and you know old school PlayStation, the things that can move are a slightly different color than everything around them. So when you come in, it's just like
re-rendered, yeah.
Right, it's part of the background. And when you leave out, you're like, oh shit, I can see it now. Oh god.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna have to fight a T-Rex. It gets worse.
I'm surprised they wouldn't make a movie out of that or something. Probably too expensive, but
It'll be a lot of CGI. In my opinion, if they were gonna make it just straight up CGI. Don't put real people in it.
and I think that's how they should do a lot of video game movies. Like, like only Resident Evil has done the 3D ones, and Final Fantasy would have no children, and that was a great movie too. Of course, that was really sweet. Everything else, the Tomb Raider movies were live action, and those were actually good movies. I thought personally, I liked them both.
I liked them. They were cool.
I never saw the Doom movie. I heard that was like,
It was because in it told the story of Doom, and then in the end they they just went straight up first person Doom, where you literally looking at it from his point of view and he's walking through shooting, killing everything. I didn't pay attention to it mostly until that part, because before that I was just like,
Man.
and then I'm like, oh, wait, I remember this.
I remember there was a Far Cry movie which I don't think I even really heard about, but apparently there was. They did a Dead or Alive movie which I forgot about.
Dead or Alive movie was bullshit.
I never saw it, but I forgot they did that movie.
It was bullshit. I'm sorry. Anyone who liked that, I'm sorry. That was I have glasses that let me do everything everyone else can do. That was a shit concept and a shit movie.
What else? All I can think of is like the older one, which is the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, with John Leguizamo and yeah, that was.
When I was a kid, I liked that movie. And I
was-
guess I still do because I was a kid, so it wasn't a video game movie.
It was.
And I guess that's fortunate, I guess. And that's really how I try to look at movies in general, even when they are video game movies, because I know nothing's going to be
The same.
Yeah, nothing's gonna be as good as the game, except like, I would say a fighting movie, but even like none of those are good. Like the Street Fighter movie I saw with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like you said, the Dead or Alive movie saw. There was another one, Tekken. I saw the Tekken movie. That's how I found. I thought I had the story right for Tekken. I didn't, because I thought Gene and Kazuya were brothers, and I didn't know Gene was his son.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like I didn't know. I was like, oh, that was his son. I thought they were brothers, and I thought Heihachi was both their fathers. I was like, okay. But yeah, I found that on the Tekken movie. There was a bunch of other stuff. But
Just run with some. I think they should just start making some movies. Just shot in the dark. Just give stuff a chance, just to see. Because we're running out of stories to tell. Period.
yeah.
So just give some crap a chance. You know what I would go out and see, even though I'm pretty sure it'd probably be shit. I'd go see a Pikmin movie. That would mean just to be like, oh shit, cool. It would be awesome.
They're making. Hopefully they're still doing it, but the Assassin's Creed movie.
That is a story that they should tell.
Yeah, like I don't think that could be that hard.
I don't think they should do it from the game. I think they should do another ancestor, because if you try to, let Ezio die. He should have had one game, 2 at the most. 3, no, that was too much. Stop it. The reason I played Assassin's Creed was because I wanted to jump throughout history, seeing that, oh shit, Lincoln didn't die because of John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth was an assassin and Lincoln was a Templar, that's why he did it, That's what I was like. I was like, Assassin's Creed is going to win an Emmy when it gets to the point where when he just dives into the machine, he doesn't know where he's going, and you're just on your way to a theater, and the objective reads, get to the balcony, you get to the balcony, and then the objective reads, kill Lincoln. And you just look down, and there's a top hat, and you have a gun in your hand, and you can't leave. You have to shoot Lincoln.
I like the new one, the stories. I think they'll be pretty cool. But as far as the movie goes, I know they have Michael Fassbender. I think he was going to be the lead, or is going to be the lead. Like I said, I forgot. I haven't heard anything about it lately, but that actually had some speed to it. I think they're talking about a Mass Effect movie.
That would be nice.
Mass Effect
in itself is a movie.
Yeah, a long time ago they were talking about a Lost Planet movie. I don't know if they do. I feel like that would be really easy to do actually.
Yeah.
Especially since it's been forever since I played Lost Planet. They could just
It was a great
make an
game.
action game.
2 was a
great
great
action
game.
movie.
I want to buy 2 again. 2 was fun.
I
used to
never
play
got
it
to
all
play
the time.
2. I played the first one and I just never got to
Get
play the
2.
second one.
2 is amazing. I thought it was going to be crap. 2 was amazing. I played that over and over again with James and a couple of his friends. It was epic. God, I love 2. It was amazing.
Can you think of any games that you think should be movies?
I said Pikmin because I just think that would be a cool kids movie. That would just be a cute kids movie, just a Pikmin movie.
Pixar could do
Pixar could do Pikmin.
Pikmin, yeah.
They should do it from the perspective of like a red Pikmin. Because I once read a story someone made about red Pikmin, like from the perspective, that was amazing. It was
Something.
It was funny. Like he was like the guy in white grabs him. My favorite scene I'll never forget from that story was where he's like the guy in white approaches this thing and it spews out fire and all of us run back and he stands there chest out and I'm in awe And then I feel a gloved hand grip my stem and I go, oh shit. And he chucks me into the fire. and as I pray to a God that I don't even know of until just this moment, I fall through expecting to curl into a blackened husk, and I get up and I'm okay. The yellow across the fire looks sideways at me. The blue is slightly disturbed, and all the other reds are like, yeah, we can do that.
This is pretty good.
That would be cool. Just do it from like one of their perspectives, and that would just be fucking amazing.
Maybe comedy or something.
Right. Just the one who's constantly getting thrown around. That'd be amazing.
Anything else?
Oh yeah. I like the story to Sonic Adventure 1, even though I know it is full of holes. But I like the story, and I like Chaos as a character because he was just cool. So a Sonic Adventure movie would be cool, especially if they do it from 1. 2, in my opinion,
I
got
like 2 better.
2 is good.
I think I like 2 better because admittedly, I just like Shadow.
Right,
I think
Shadow
it's
was
really
sweet until they fucked him up. But
I think
when they gave him a pistol and made him cuss, they
and
fucked
then
him up.
Shadow the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
which I rented that game, right? So I think they did too.
I think they did too.
I think it was because I rented it, but maybe.
You
I just
spent money on it.
yeah, that was when I actually used to rent games, and they had like the weird thing Blockbuster did. It was like the Gamefly stuff, like for a month or whatever. And then Resident Evil 4 came out, and I used like the rest of it for that. I was like, everything else sucks now.
Take this shit back.
Yeah.
No, but that would be cool. I liked 2's had a good story. I just liked the open world in 1, and then 2 took that away, and I didn't like that. Even though now I can appreciate
I thought they
it.
had it too.
No, like 1 was you were in the
Yeah, I
city and
remember
you had
one
to
was
go.
complete. Yeah, you could talk to people.
2, no, it was done scene by scene. Even though I feel the story in 2 was just as good, if not better than 1, and I enjoyed 2 more than I enjoyed 1. I like 1 better because of the
the
open
story
world.
elements and how they do it. Yeah.
Right. But that was really, I liked that. I really loved E. Gamma's story in 1. That made me cry when he found out that he was powered by a tiny animal and he self-destructed. That was like, oh, all the feels. 'Cause that was a badass. He killed his brother and he realized, what have I done? He just tore himself apart.
I just thought one video game movie that is good. I like the Mortal Kombat movies.
Those are good.
I think those are probably some of the best, as far as live action at least. I always like the second one better than the first one, but I think they're both pretty good, personally speaking. Obviously, like worse CG because it's from the '90s, but they're pretty good. And have you seen the new like the miniseries? Okay, those are great. Can't think. Mortal Kombat Legacy. It's on Machinima. If you haven't seen them, check those out. It's like 9 episodes. They're each like 20 minutes or half an hour or something.
Check that out.
And it pretty much redoes the universe, and it shows like the history of the characters, but it makes them more realistic and stuff like that. It's really cool actually. And then they're actually doing a season 2. Like they had a commercial. I remember they had a commercial for season 2 during like the season finale of Walking Dead. So like it's a really big deal for Machinima, and it is a really good thing. It looked great. It's well done. But as far as anything that could be made into a movie, I can't really think of much.
You got a shirt on about 1.
Well, yeah, Portal. I
Portal
mean,
movie would be good.
or Half-Life. I think Portal would be great because it could be. I feel like they could do a mini series for Portal, like a comedy or something.
Let's do it from the perspective of the rat man.
Yeah,
That'd be
or
cool.
Half-Life if they did it, would be great.
They just
Half-Life 2.
How about
is
they
like,
finish Half-Life and then work on the
Yeah, they
movie?
have to do that. But yeah, because Half-Life 2 is like my favorite first-person game.
Oh God,
And like
yes.
I really, it's a great story.
Half-Life 2 made a man out of me because going through Ravenhold makes a man out of you. I don't do
I
horror.
remember
I did Ravenhold.
I did I played through the game, then I did the achievement for the gnome, and you have to carry the gnome literally through the entire game. And it's like, this is so hard, because it's like you'll lose it sometimes. Like I'll be like, I can't walk with it because you walk slower when you hold stuff. So I try to just pick it up and shoot it like across the screen with the gravity gun and then just run to it. And I'm like, I'm in Ravenholm, I'm like, I just have to shoot this thing like all the way.
Oh Jesus, no.
Like, it was so hard to do that.
You know how you can tell someone plays Half-Life 2 and this is true? If you screech and they immediately scream head crab. If screeching and they say poisonous head crab, that's a Half-Life 2 fan. I've always wanted to do that. I wanted to start take the elevator all the way up to the 4th floor here, and then have someone press the button, and then I just stand behind them and go, yeah, and just have them turn around and shit no.
Yeah, I think Half-Life would be good. They could do the first game. I feel like most people didn't play that one.
No,
Or at least didn't finish it. I didn't finish it. I played it, but that was when PS2 like first came out and the graphics were still horrible. But I played multiplayer. Like me and my cousin literally played like hundreds of hours. Just me and him, like crowbars. We just run around swinging crowbars, trying to kill each other, and just
That
like,
reminds
set
me
up
of
mines
Slaps.
and rocket launchers and stuff. It was really fun.
It makes me think of Slaps for 007. Have you ever done that for the 64? Just
I don't.
Slaps only?
I don't think so.
It's terrible because it takes forever to kill someone, but
One of the things we did do, it wasn't for the N64, but it was for the one on Xbox, I believe, or PlayStation, was mines only.
oh
So we
shit.
just have, like, you walk into a hallway and there's like, just lasers everywhere. You couldn't even go down the hall anymore. Like, you couldn't duck because it was just like diagonal all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just like, you can't walk around.
That's taken from the 64 GoldenEye version because that was terrible. Never play a game with proximity mines. That is asking for the game to end -100 to -10 because it's just like I'm gonna fill this room with proximity mines, and then the asshole that you filled it for has filled the room that you're trying to retreat into with proximity mines. So you step back, boom, and you just die as you see fire go off, and then he's laughing, but now your mines are going off, so now he's dead too. And it's just everything's pitch black from the smoke and explosions. Everyone's mad. No one wins. It's just terrible.
I feel like they could do, I feel like a Devil May Cry movie.
Devil May Cry would be really cool.
If they did all for 3, because it was more comedy than the other ones. I feel like that would be good.
There's a bunch of shit.
Any sort of, yeah, like the basic, like I think a hack in any, like even a crappy hack and slash game could be good. Great.
They need to do No More Heroes movie. That
would be sweet.
would be awesome because that game
It would be
amazing.
so simple, yeah. They could combine them.
The story writes itself. It's a
Yeah.
competition where you have to kill to get in, and then you fight your way to the top.
Yeah.
And then the 2 would be even better because it's like the story for 2 is great. You don't just leave this. You can't become number 1 and just say fuck it, I'm done now. This is a game where now you're number 1, so number 2 is going to try to kill you to become number 1.
That's one of the things I liked about too. Even though they only did it once, someone actually came after you because you played through a level, and then at the end, it's the person ranked under you comes after you. And one of the things I hated was she had like a double-sided one, and I always thought that you unlocked that as a weapon or something, but they didn't do that.
It was cool though.
Yeah, like that would be a really cool game or
A movie.
cool movie, yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm waiting for the third one. 'Cause
The cameo would be the one thing that make that everyone's just in the theater cracking up that played the game is when he gets to like the final boss and he stops and uses the bathroom.
Yeah.
That way everyone in the theater would be like, oh hell yeah, he about to kick some ass.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Although my most hated boss to that M2 was the double postman. It was a bullshit fight.
Yeah, that was annoying because they kept rehealing, so it's hard to get them both.
Rehealing and then the one dick would just go up in the rafters and shoot beams of death at you.
They could hit each other though. That was like the only thing.
That would stop them.
Yeah.
Is to just
Because if you completely killed one, then like that was all you could do. Is just chase one down because you couldn't attack both. And playing as Shinobi wasn't that fun. Like
No.
it was cool to play as her. The boss fights were just really hard. Like the guy in the bank, it was hard to do because it was impossible for me to get her jumping right. Because
That
it was
was-
just hard to do.
yeah. I
But
didn't
she was
like
like a
her.
cool character.
I did like his brother though.
Yeah.
That was pretty
It's like the you only played as him in the dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it was fun to play as him. I found out that guy who does the voice for Henry is the guy who does Raiden for Metal Gear.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. That's cool. Metal Gear Solid movie.
I thought they were doing that. That's what I was going to mention with the Lost Planet because it was David Hayter was like producing it or something. But then I was like, oh, it's not Metal Gear, it's Lost Planet.
That would be. They should do a Metal Gear Solid movie because that in itself, that universe is
Pretty good.
really good.
I feel like it would be hard to do because it's such, well, it would be like, well, I can't say Resident Evil, but it would just be like a good, like, drama game or something. It would be kind of like condensing.
They couldn't
like,
do
a
it from
TV
SNES.
show, yeah, like a TV show to a movie. I feel like it would be like that for a Metal Gear game because there's so much. Just in one game alone, you have like hours and hours of content and history from the characters. It would just be hard to do it in one.
In my opinion, you couldn't do it from any of the main characters because their story is the game.
Yeah.
You would have to do it from someone else's perspective, a minor character, or someone from, a minor character, or someone
what
going
they
through a
could
similar
do,
thing.
They could do a vamp movie. I feel like that would have to be like a 3D movie though. I don't think that could be live action, but a vamp movie I think would be pretty cool. There are a ton of stories. I don't know, does Metal Gear have books? I'm sure it does, because most games
Probably.
do.
I haven't seen it. You'd have to ask James.
Yeah.
He's
And
the real
yeah,
outside guru.
yeah, I don't want to do a Metal Gear thing until we get James to do it on the podcast, because he's like our
He's our Metal
resident-
Gear
yeah,
guy.
like our resident Metal Gear character.
He knows everything. Me and one of his friends are both named Brandon. So him and his other friend Kenzie, to keep the confusion down, they call me Boss. And they call Brandon, the other Brandon, Brandon. And James refuses to call me Boss because it makes him think of Big Boss from Metal Gear.
Yeah.
He's like, I will not call you that. You do not deserve that name. I'm like, James, it's just. He's like, no, I will call you Brandon. We will deal with the confusion. I'm never calling you Boss.
Yeah, but I think they could do a good movie for Metal Gear. They could do, wouldn't that be simple if they did Rising as a movie? That would be really cool. And just have them like chopping up here. It would just be like a really cool.
They're gonna
ninja
probably
action
do.
movie. Yeah.
They're gonna do
They
Acid.
could do.
Acid is going to be a movie. It's
They
gonna be
could-
Snake with a deck of cards. It's supposed to.